major tournament. Each, yeah, I guess you want to call them majors. It's very similar to golf. There are 4 majors. The French, the British, no, it's not the British, it's Wimbledon, the U.S. Open, and the Australian Open. Those are the 4 majors. And as I said, the French is on clay. Wimbledon, which is the next one coming up in July and August, I think. I think it's in late July.
Yeah.
That's on grass, which I don't know if you've ever seen grass courts on tennis, but it's like a putting green. Like it's really short cut grass, and like you can see the mowing lines and stuff like that. And the grass is really good for hard servers, and it's always been known for serving and volleying back in the day. But as tennis has evolved and the rackets have gotten
better,
more and more technologically advanced, less people have served and volleyed. It's more baseline hitting. So, but you still see the emergence of a lot of those servers and serve and volleyers there at Wimbledon because of the surface. It's got really low bounces, like it doesn't bounce really well. The ball doesn't on the ground, so therefore they try to hit it out of the air before it hits the ground. And it's a fast service, so like the ball skids off the ground really quickly. And so the big servers, the guy who can really serve the ball hard, like Andy Roddick, guys like that. Ivo Karlovic, who's 6'10", one of the tallest guys on tour. John Isner, another American who's 6'9". Some of those guys who hit big serves really make their runs in Wimbledon. And that's another reason why Andy Roddick lost second or third round this year in the French Open. Clay is very different. Clay is very gritty. It also doesn't bounce quite as well, but it caters a lot to the baseliners, the guys who like to hit it from the back like Nadal. So that's why Andy Roddick didn't do very well right now. And the other major championships, I'll just go through them really quickly. The U.S. Open is on hard court, normal concrete court, like what we play on.
Like high school?
Yeah, high school. And Australian has actually changed over the years. That's the one that has somewhat changed. It used to be on composite court, which is really bouncy and really fast. Kind of similar to Wimbledon in that the big servers did well on that. But then they changed it recently to a more gritty hard court. So it plays somewhere between a hard court, like a cement court, and clay. So check those out. Australian Open is usually in February. Then French is right now in May and early June. Wimbledon is in July, late July, and then the U.S. Open is in September. So check those out. I got the signal from upstairs that we should move on, so let's move on to
baseball.
Baseball. James wants to go on to baseball. What do you have for us?
All right. This kid is 17 years old. His name is Bryce Harper. He's getting paid millions just getting drafted next week. First pick?
Number 1 pick
by
overall?
the Nationals. He's going to be making millions. When is a person too young to be drafted for a sport? I know basketball is you have to be 21, I believe.
No.
Or is it first year out of college?
Yeah, you have to have 1 year out of high school, I think is what they say.
Oh.
Because I know Brandon Jennings went from high school, he went to Europe for a year to play there, and then now he's in the NBA. So it's 1 year out of high school. So basically 19 years old, I think, is what it is, basically.
But I thought they changed that because of Greg Oden.
19.
Oh, gotcha.
So he played 1 year at Ohio State.
All right. Then football, you have to be in college. I know that. You have to be in college to be drafted in football.
You don't see very many foreign. Like a lot of times in the NBA draft, you'll see those foreign players going pretty high or whatever. There's no foreign American football players. There just aren't any. So
not many foreign countries play American football. So there's like it's just an American sport.
Yeah.
Yes.
So baseball, apparently there is no rule on that because 17 years old. Obviously, that is the youngest. That's the youngest I've ever seen anybody drafted in anything. Besides, like, I don't know, like the Japanese will get like 12-year-old
Yeah.
kids who are like phenoms and stuff like that. But in America, that's the youngest I've ever seen anything like that.
But that is crazy. Now you don't even have to ask your mom. You're hardly even driving yet.
Yeah,
So,
1 year driving, yeah.
I mean, you're now getting a Benz or something right out of your first car. That is crazy.
Yeah.
But this kid had 31 home runs in 66 games. He stole 20 bases, and he had 98 RBIs. That is just amazing for...
In only 66 games, that's about half of what the Major League season is. The Major League season is well over 100 games.
Yes.
So that getting 98 RBIs in half of a Major League Baseball series, a lot of guys would be happy with 98 RBIs at the end of a full season.
Yeah, really.
So I mean, I'm kind of skeptical, honestly, because he's been playing with high schools. I mean, I know that's what they're. I mean, there's nothing else that he can really play with, but I don't know if he's going to be. He's going to have to mature a lot in the AA and AAA. They're going to send him way down in their, but they'll just have him as their ace in the hole, obviously.
Yes.
So.
But him being picked for the Nationals, I mean, that's unheard of for a 17-year-old to be picked for any sport, pro sport, that is.
Yeah, it's definitely insane. But other than that, the Major League Baseball, we've witnessed the rise of pitching. The rise of pitching.
Yes.
At the beginning of the year, we had Ubaldo Jimenez throw a no-hitter. Then we had, like a month or two ago, Dallas Braden of the Oakland A's throw a perfect game. Then just like a week ago, we had Roy Halladay throw a perfect game. And then just last night or the night before, I can't remember how long.
Night before
last. I can't think of the guy's name. The Detroit Tigers pitcher
had a no-hitter.
Gets a perfect game, but
the
umpire calls the runner safe. And when you go back and look at it on replay, it's obvious by almost a full stride that he was out.
Yeah.
So that umpire cost
a no-hitter. I mean,
no-hitter.
that hardly ever happens in baseball during a season. Maybe you may get like 4 or 5. Wait, less than that, isn't it?
No-hitters?
Yeah, maybe.
No-hitters, I don't know, 2 or 3 probably a year.
Yeah.
Perfect game. The last perfect game was like 70-something. Or no, it wasn't that long ago.
I'm sure it was in the 90s.
Yeah. There have been 20 perfect games in all the years of baseball. So just to figure that out. It was the closest between Dallas Braden's and Roy Halladay's, which was less than a month, was the by far closest that there have ever been 2 perfect games to one another. And it just shows how much emphasis is being put on pitching now and how dominant pitchers are getting. It's crazy. I don't know if it's we had the steroid era throughout the 90s and stuff. Maybe that was really helping guys out because now they're forced to be clean because of all these drug
problems. Yeah,
all the drug testing and stuff like that. Maybe the steroids really have helped the hitters out a lot because the 90s were more of a hitting era.
Yes.
Like you had all those Barry Bonds,
Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire.
I mean, all those guys were hitting home runs left and right. I mean, getting outrageous numbers hitting, and now everybody's forced to be clean, and now you see the rise of pitching once again. So.
Speaking of a big hitter that just retired, Ken Griffey Jr.
Ken Griffey Jr. I was sad that day. He was an idol growing up. My dad was a huge baseball fan. He still claims that he could have made it to the majors. I'm not sure about that, but he says that he could. So obviously I was fed a lot of baseball, and my grandpa was also a big White Sox fan.
Yeah.
So when Ken Griffey retired, I definitely had basically a moment of silence for him because it was a sad day. He was doing awful this year, though, just straight awful.
Yeah, his team is at the bottom of their division, so.
And they got Cliff Lee too, which doesn't make any sense. Cliff Lee has got 7 or 8 starts, and he's like 2-1 or something. Like he's had so many no decisions because right as soon as he gets out, then their closer can't save the game for him.
No.
So it's just a messed up.